Civilization, the stage of human, social, and cultural development that is considered at its most advanced. If you ask anyone today if they think the world as it is right now is its most advanced, you'd likely hear no. There are many things we can improve on and make better. There are many things we have yet to discover, create, to see, to do, and this isn't the most advanced as we can be. This can't be it. Even if we reach the standard set, humanity just won't be satisfied until we truly reach the pinnacle. In history, many civilizations came and went chasing the same goal. Some were truly great in their times. Their achievements are forever immortalized in history books or in museums. Some creations of that bygone era still stand even to this very day. Because these civilizations kept striving for greater, they reached the peak of their existence and will be a popular topic to talk about till the end of time. But what if a civilization already reached their peak? What if the limit was already tapped out, but they resisted to accept fate? And because of that greed, obsession, or perhaps even desperation, instead of being remembered forever, they tried to control their fate and caused everything they built to be erased and forgotten. Just another mystery with more questions than answers. That is exactly what happened in the world of Hytale. In this video, I will talk about the tragic history of one of its most prominent civilizations, from what I was able to piece together with the lore tidbits I discovered in my time with this game. I will talk about their achievements, their fall, and the ripples and tears caused by their success, as well as theorize in between the gaps the developers left in the lore of this world, from the information of what the game kept in and withheld in its early release. The Crucible was a civilization that lived in the fiery region of Zone 4. Not the desolate fiery wasteland we see today. Zone 4 used to be a lush landscape that housed many trees and various plant life. Back in Zone 4's heyday, the land not only must have been just suitable for living, but seemingly ideal. Out of the 4 zones we can explore as of this version, we see that Zone 4 was the most densely populated than any other zone. The people of the Crucible were very well established. They were even self-sustainable in terms of materials. This land is the richest in the variety of ore. Everywhere has copper and iron, and Zone 4 is the only place to get adamantite, the strongest metal in this version of the game right now. You can also occasionally find a few thorium, normally found in Zone 2, or cobalt, normally found in Zone 3, in random spots walking around the zone. They had everything they needed, and the land was raised up by the cooled magma, making Zone 4 tactically superior, and they had enough resources to have an army with all the bells and whistles. They even had 50 million battle power, whatever that means. The only downside of this land was living near a volcano. This land was a dream come true for any civilization. But the people of the Crucible had many more dreams they wanted to come true. They used the essence of fire to create anything they dreamed of, though I'm unsure what those dreams were or what they created with the fire essence. But based on some vague item descriptions, shaky evidence, and when nothing to contradict this theory, I believe the people of the Crucible and all of their glory was threatened, but from whom, we don't really know. Possibly another kingdom, the creatures of the void, perhaps they broke a heavenly principle and angered Gaia herself. Despite all their power and resources, whatever this force was, it had to be great enough to threaten their reign. Great enough to make the people of the Crucible seek out immortality, and I believe they were able to grant that wish with their own hands, but they were not prepared to face the monkey's paw. The description of the alchemist's workbench says, "The alchemists of old long sought the secrets to eternal life. Some might say they achieved that grand goal, though perhaps not in the form they imagined." And though this connection could be made with any of the civilizations of the past we know, or even civilizations we don't know, except there is a random chance we can find a naturally spawned alchemist table in what I dubbed the Burnt Manor in Zone 4. In this manor, we see lots of exotic, crazy-looking plants, the same plants required to make the health, stamina, and energy potions. In the same manner, there are some enemies called the Burnt Skeleton Alchemist. The keyword burnt solidifies that this mob is naturally found in Zone 4, with its other burnt buddies of the Crucible. So the people of the Crucible were all well versed in alchemy, and we can see that they took this practice very seriously. Around the manor, we see many well-armed guards. The now burnt militia once protected this place long ago. The people needed this place to succeed. We can even see some of the experiments left behind by the alchemists of old. I always thought it was strange to see the weird Frankenstein farm animals. The cow, the pig, and the chicken. I wanted to say these animals were some of the first successful experiments in defying death. They have an extremely different appearance than any other enemy in the entire game, let alone Zone 4. They have a patchwork body of various flesh, and the undead cow even has his brain sticking out. All three mobs drop light leather and have a blue glowing eyes, much like the same blue glowing eyes as the skeletons roaming the world of Hytale. Interestingly, more than just the people were given this theoretical elixir. We can see that most of the undead mobs are some type of fighter, archer, soldier, wizard, mage, but along with them, there's horses and wolves, the type of roster you'd want when fighting in a war. It appears that in the pursuit of immortality, the control over life and death, some of the Crucible's denizens derived from the arcane arts, and almost as guided by whispers, they delved into the dark arts. Patrolling across the scorched land is a massive skeleton called the Praetorian. Once a high-ranking warrior of his past life, he is a tough nut to crack by himself, but he has an ability unique to any other enemy in the game I have encountered. He can summon his dead comrades at will with some sort of magic. Upon defeating him, he drops a grimoire called Rekindled Embers, and in the description it says only applies to the bones of the species once bound by the elemental fire. This is the only grimoire the player can use as of now in this video, but in the creative mode you can see the various grimoires the game has, most used only by enemies. But there's an unused book called the Demon Spellbook. It looks identical to the grimoire the giant skeleton drops. Both have the same horned monster with the green glowing eyes. Kind of reminds me of the Outlanders. And both of these books are unique compared to the other grimoires. For the fire, ice, brown, and wind grimoires, there are just words on the pages. But for the demon book and the Emperor's grimoire, they have a strange drawing. This drawing resembles what looks like a person plus this thing that is bigger at the base and smaller at the top. I believe this image is a bottle. Almost like this book gave them the know-how to literally bottle up life. But rather than living forever, this grimoire kinda just reanimates the already dead. Somehow the people of the Crucible did it. They defied nature. In more ways than one, they were going to live on forever. But they had a debt to pay, whether to the laws of nature itself or to alchemy's law of equivalent exchange. The people of the Crucible could only live forever after death. Their flesh, memories, soul, their reign would be stripped from them so the literal bones of their existence could aimlessly roam across the land. Whatever they were fighting for, their reason for self-preservation, religion, control, power, war, or survival, whether they had noble intentions or not, all of their efforts, their sacrifices, it was all for naught. In the bone fragments descriptions, it reads, Orbis's most advanced civilizations share one common trait: the hubris that ultimately led to their downfall. These bone fragments and the cursed creature from which they were salvaged should serve as a reminder that some paths are better left untrodden.